there's a bigger issue here. Just because a group of people belong to the Federation, it does not mean that they are saints. The trouble is Earth. On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise. Well, it's easy to be a saint in paradise. Out there, all the problems haven't been solved yet. Out there are no saints, just people. Angry, scared, determined people who are going to do whatever it takes to survive.
What I want to know is, out of all the stories you told me, which ones were true and which ones weren't?
My dear doctor, they're all true.
Even the lies.
Especially the lies.
On behalf of the Bajoran government
And the Promenade Merchants Association.
I officially welcome you to Deep Space Nine.
Welcome back to Especially the Lies, a Deep Space Nine podcast. We are a group of longtime fans of Star Trek and the Star Trek franchise who have convinced some of our friends once again to watch a 30-year-old show with us week to week. For those that have watched our prior podcast, Grey 17, you know exactly how this works. We have some folks on this show that we like to call the prophets, and then we have our newbies who are watching DS9 for the very first time. I am your host, Blake, and with me is...
Mike,
Emily,
Chris,
Nicole,
Jessi,
and Christopher.
And I think it's interesting, Emily, you're a prophet on this show, and it's driving one of our newbies absolutely batshit crazy. That they're still a newbie, and you're not this time. And they think you're enjoying this way, way too damn much.
little bit.
she is. She's evil.
Okay, but we have known about my evilness for a while now. This is not news.
I was going to say, that's not news. That's not a surprise. We get the evil side. So, Christopher, you are the one, and I don't know why we even take volunteers at this point, but you are the one that indicated you had a synopsis ready for this episode.
I do.
Oh boy.
Transporter Tom shows up and pretends to be Will. Commander Sisko, realizing he's in serious trouble if he allows the Wish version of Will Riker to start a war, bonds with Gul Dukat.
That was good.
Bad. Not bad.
I don't know that I think he's the Wish version.
He still has the Riker smile. There's nothing wish about. There is some wish
Temu
about that,
version.
but that's not a wish.com.
But he didn't Riker maneuver anything.
No, he didn't.
No, but
Which
he
should
did
have been the
whoop a lot of
giveaway.
ass.
So this is why we had some of you watch Second Chances from Star Trek The Next Generation. That is the episode that established how we ended up with a second version of Will Riker. Now, granted, they did offer a little bit of explanation in the episode for exactly what happened, but we figured it would be more fun to torture you with some even older sci-fi and have you watch Star Trek The Next Generation. Just wait till we have you watch some other gems from that particular series. And for some special bonus content, we actually posted on our Discord. At the end of recording that, we were talking about some Star Trek The Next Generation episodes, and we showed a screen cap from some episodes, and in particularly the costumes from this episode to Nicole. The look on your face, Nicole.
They were something.
I believe the phrase moose knuckle was involved. Yeah, that was a interesting episode, was it not?
Yeah, that was wild. But those
Yes.
pictures perfectly captured my thoughts. So good job on you, Blake.
And for those wondering, we are talking about the episode Justice from season 1 of TNG. With costuming by William Ware Theiss, and as those who are familiar with Star Trek history know, it was referred to as the Theiss theory of titillation, which was basically what is the least amount of fabric that can be held in place with the least amount of effort and make it through sensors.
Honestly, it looks like they cut off, like they took one piece of fabric and made 2 outfits with it.
I think they tried to make 4 outfits with one small piece of fabric because, damn, there was
it's less hot and more like you see it and it's like an engineering challenge. You're like,
Right?
how, what?
Well, okay, and there's that
How?
one skinny kid who's in the scene that's supposedly entertaining Wesley Crusher, and they had to use some magic tape on those shorts because one, they're pretty low down there, and that kid has no hips at all. So the fact they stayed on through filming is probably a miracle of double-sided tape. And that was one of the images we showed Nicole that led to one of the, oh my God, they allowed this on television.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I cannot get those few minutes of my life back, and that is in my brain forever now. Thank you, guys.
You're
We are
welcome.
so going to have to make you watch that whole episode just for shits and giggles.
We aim to please.
But let's go ahead and jump into getting the first impressions from our newbies on the episode of DS9 we actually watched, now that we've rehashed Nicole's trauma of justice. So, Chris, let's go ahead and start with you and get your first impressions.
Yeah, it was funny because I watched that TNG episode that you asked us to watch right before watching this one. And when the episode started, nothing in my brain was like, oh, that must be the clone until the turn or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, why did I think of that? I liked the episode. I liked obviously seeing Riker again and then how they used that episode from TNG instead of a lot of times, especially in a series that runs this long, has this much ground and lore that they have access to and can cover. Sometimes threads like that get lost. And so it could have just been an episode, just like, oh, the clone's out there somewhere, and then everybody just forgets about it. So I like the fact that they brought it back and actually put use to that story, because it was finding a clone of yourself is a pretty damn shocking and heavy kind of story. But overall, I liked it. I didn't think there were too many like high points, anything that I was like, oh shit, that got me out my seat or anything, but I did like different things that they had going on. Like I like the duplicity within the Cardassian, what is it, the Black Order, I think it's
Obsidian Order.
called, the Obsidian Order, and Gul Dukat in Central Command. So there were layers to it, which I appreciated about the episode. But overall, I thought it was good. It just didn't blow me away, but it was still really good.
And for those wondering, if anyone ever wants to send me coffee that I have a hard time getting on the West Coast, Caribou Obsidian is a personal favorite. Just throwing that out there. Nicole, how about your first impressions?
Well, I felt like I was in the know because I watched that episode. So when it started, I was like, oh, look, it's Will Riker, cool. And he's hitting on Kira, and her and Dax are giggling like schoolgirls over him. It was cute. And then all of a sudden he fucking shoots her, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then he rips off the facial hair. And the other chick is like, we did it, Tom. And I was like, you son of a bitch. So you are an evil twin. I take back my liking of you better than Will Riker. Because at first I liked Tom better than Will. Well, guess what? That's out the window now. Tom can kiss my ass. So, but no, I really enjoyed this episode.
Yep.
Yes.
So I really like how Kira was basically balls to the walls in this episode. She tried to blow up those sections in the Defiant. She called him out. She called him on his bullshit. She got in his face. Like, she was not afraid to like stand up and try to convince him otherwise. And believe it or not, I kind of sort of liked Gul Dukat a little bit in this episode. I liked him and Cisco's dynamic. I thought their scenes were really great together. I feel like his talking about his son humanized him a little bit more. Made you actually feel like, oh, maybe he does have feelings. He's not just an evil Nazi. I mean, he's still an evil Nazi, but has feelings.
Christopher, what's some first impressions from you?
So I was weary because I hate Frakes in any series that is not TNG. But I really enjoyed this episode. So maybe that hatred is just needing to stay with Enterprise and I need to get over myself, but I probably won't. Stop shaking your head. But the interactions between Gul Dukat and Cisco in this episode were excellent, as were the play between Riker and Kira. And they made some good points with Kira's history in the Resistance and Tom's experience in the Maquis. And I liked how they tried to make those points, but show that there was something different in between them. And like when Kira told him, you're doing it wrong, you have this ship and you should go kick some ass with it. I couldn't really tell if that was the true Kira or like she was trying to provoke him to screwing up. But I really like this episode, and I guess I'm just gonna have to get over my avoidance of Riker.
The look that Emily gave you when you said you don't like Jonathan Frakes. You might be in some danger there, Will Robinson.
Look, that is the worst damn finale besides the How I Met Your Mother finale that I have ever seen.
Okay.
And I will.
No, I agree with that. The Enterprise finale was absolute garbage. I'm
Absolutely
angry
was.
about it.
And he, as somebody who has been on in this series and knows what it means, like to have them just have like a holodeck episode of them. And if somebody from the original series would to have come in and been like, well, let's see what's going on. I want to learn from this experience. If they would have brought somebody back from the original series on the TNG finale and been like, we're gonna make this about them and not the actual characters for the entire series that you've just been watching, everybody would be so fucking pissed off at them.
Oh yeah.
And so that's where my hatred of Frakes comes from.
Clearly, you never saw the finale of The Sopranos either.
Mm.
That one's really gonna frost your ass.
Yeah,
But
garbage. Yeah.
Well, Frakes voiced Xanatos, the character in Gargoyles. I don't know
Fucking
if anybody
Gargoyles.
else
I
watched
knew
it.
you were gonna pull that.
I liked him as
Man.
Xanatos.
I was gonna say, what other stuff besides TNG was Frakes in? Like, are you mad at Unsolved Mysteries?
he has shaken his fist at the clouds and said it will be a cold day in hell before he watches The Librarians. We actually commented on this in the Visiting with the Prophets section after last week's episode, and your visceral thoughts on Frakes as a director, that, oh boy, you get to watch him this week in DS9. So no, we had some fun with that, Visiting with the Prophets. And Jessi, how about your first impression?
Yeah, I don't even know how I feel about this fucking episode. So it's fine. I did go back and watch the episode that you guys wanted us to watch that I didn't record on, where he was the double whatever. And so when I saw him today for the first time, I was like, I don't even know which one this is. And I don't know if it has anything to do with this. And then actually it did. So it was fine. I don't love the last fucking kiss. It was weird and a little creepy, but also heard that Jake is still dating the Dabo girl. So you know that how that set my fucking whole goddamn episode into fucking chaos. Other than that, it was kind of cool of an episode. It was cool to watch. Clearly, Christopher was right, where we're going to absolutely have some kind of bullshit war with the Marquis, and it's coming whether any of us want it to or not. So I would say it was a fine episode. I didn't hate it.
Another Jessi, I didn't hate it. And I can't believe you would start this episode and wonder if the one we had you watch had anything to do with it. Like, we would actually give you homework that was absolutely fucking meaningless to anything else we were going to have you
It's
do.
actually a great idea.
You know what? On second thought, I'm gonna come up with an episode or two just for funsies.
I didn't
watch
know
Justice.
Content.
Honestly, because I didn't record it, I thought it was just a bonus episode. So I didn't know that I absolutely had to watch it, but I watched it because I had no idea what was going on. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you, I didn't pay super close attention to it. So I'm not 100% sure why he didn't like O'Brien. Clearly there was some kind of reason, and I don't know what it was, but that is probably neither here nor there.
Wait.
So I would have lost that bet that Jessi watched that episode.
Christopher, you can mail your donation. You have my address. Just send it right on over.
Yeah.
I did like the response that Bashir had to her losing her shit at the beginning.
Let's go ahead and switch over to our longtime fans now and get their first impressions on this episode. And let's start with Mike.
I kind of feel like I think Chris did on this one. I didn't dislike the episode. I enjoyed it pretty well, but like nothing about it necessarily, like, I don't know, tickles my joystick, I guess. Like, it's fine. It's just okay. I do appreciate like the fact that they kind of went back and pulled this one shot interesting sci-fi premise for a TNG episode and like brought it back and like made use of this kind of neat concept that they set up in a different series. I thought it was kind of a bold choice that they did it in a different series that doesn't even feature any of those characters. So, but it was cool. It raises some questions about cybersecurity in the distant future. And other than that, I just thought it was it was fine. It was just enjoyable, and I think it does world building or story setup for things to come. So, yeah. All right.
Emily, we're ready for your first impressions.
I like the episode, but I also like Will Riker. I will give Christopher the exception of the Enterprise series finale because that was absolutely horrific and offensive to Trip, who was my favorite on the show. Anyway, it is a good episode. I like that Bashir came across as competent and not annoying for once, and even got Quark in on it to get Kira to like chill the fuck out. And I thought it was funny when she's sitting there like looking at the stuff in front of her thinking, okay, what am I gonna do? Because she doesn't know how to chill. Like she's always high strung, focusing on everything else and doesn't ever relax. And of course, the Ducat and Cisco dynamic was fantastic. They always work well together. So I enjoy that. And it was interesting to see a female Cardassian from the Obsidian Order giving Ducat a hard time, which I actually really appreciated, and getting a dig in at him. Did anyone recognize the female Cardassian? I'm probably not.
I did.
Because I didn't, I was like, she seems familiar, but I watch the show all the time. So when someone seems familiar, I'm just like, it's probably because I've seen it. And then she was in Babylon 5.
One of the movies.
She was.
And one of the episodes.
Right, that's right.
Yeah,
she was in the episode too.
I had to look up the episode, and did I just skim it? It was the episode that we all loved, Believers, where they let the kid die.
Was it the mom?
She was the mom.
Yeah.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. That bitch. No wonder I didn't like her. I didn't like her stupid, ugly face.
There you go.
And she's
Enjoy
a
that
child
bit.
killer too. Great, awesome.
She was the mom in that episode, and then in the movie in the beginning, she was the Earth Alliance president, I believe.
Yep.
Hmm.
And from Star Trek Next Generation, she was captain of the Enterprise C, Rachel Garrett.
Okay, I guess I shouldn't call her a bitch. She's probably a very nice person, but her characters are
character.
bitches. Yes.
Well, I would bet she would not have let her little boy date a Dabo girl. So there's that. She'll just let him die.
Cut another hour of content, please.
And also, she was in the movie Titanic. Her role was woman.
Oh, woman. Okay.
I do remember her from that movie. Yes, yes.
Yeah, she stole the show, woman.
I'm making jokes. She's probably cashing checks still. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure about this time every year she just gets a check going, yep, it's the anniversary. Here you go.
Or maybe not. If you're an extra, I don't know if you get residuals or anything. So
she's credited though.
That's
So
true.
she's not
The way
just an
James
extra.
Cameron
She's
threw money
credited.
at that movie, I'm
as a woman.
Look, I'm not saying that it's a big credit. I'm just, maybe she gets like 39 cents.
Here's your
every year
$2.35.
In this economy, I'll take it. Shit.
Right.
And does that wrap up your first impression?
Yes, it does.
So I really enjoy this episode also. I like Jonathan Frakes. Sorry, Christopher. I know you'll get over it eventually. I'm going to send you a copy of Let It Go from Frozen for Christmas this year.
Let it go.
Okay, you've hit the copyright limit.
Shit. Sorry, I forget about that shit. Like I'll fucking sing the whole goddamn song.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Hey,
But
save it for Patreon.
Save it for Patreon. But I like Jonathan Frakes. I like when he shows up. I think that it was really creative for them to be able to use the Thomas Riker character and play with that a little bit. They had some other plans. This is what the episode ended up with, but I think it worked really well. I like when Gul Dukat shows up, and I think having him and Cisco together in the scenes worked really well with those two playing off each other. And the Obsidian Order showing up again. And their secretive nonsense and bullshit. So I really enjoyed this episode overall. I think it had a strong story. I think the cast was fantastic in it. Another little bit of a deep cut, the female Maquis member who was at the helm, she was actually introduced in Preemptive Strike in Star Trek The Next Generation as the same character, which involved the Maquis. That's actually why we asked some of you all to watch some of those background episodes on the Maquis before we got to the Maquis Part 1 and 2. That character shows back up here in this episode as well. So the attention to some of the detail and continuity, I also really appreciate in this as well. And I think they handled it really well with the encounter between Thomas Riker and O'Brien, because that was going to be a question, right? How do you introduce someone who's pretending to be Will Riker on this show who would have served with O'Brien and been friends with O'Brien for years? And how do you get around that? I think they did it relatively well with just that, I don't have anything to say to you, fuck off. Because the last thing Thomas Riker wanted to do was have a discussion with the real O'Brien, who he's not actually served with for all those years, like what the real Will Riker would have done. I will say, Christopher, I do fully agree with you that the finale of Enterprise fucking sucks. It is the worst finale out there. But you can stop holding it against the cast that were in that finale. They're called actors. They get paid to just do the script and the job that they're hired for. If Frakes would have said no, they would have put someone else in there. It would have still happened. So just let it go. We like Frakes on this show.
Oh, man, he just took a big swig of his bottle to lubricate for that rebuttal that's coming.
Emily wants to be Riker maneuvered. I mean, for God's sakes, you're never going to change her mind on that.
Look, who doesn't want to?
I don't even know what it is.
Person.
He is pretty hot.
I'm not trying to change anybody's mind about whether or not they want to be Riker maneuvered or not.
Okay, Nicole needs a video clip of the Riker maneuver. Blake, pull it up.
The disrespect that episode is to the series of Enterprise and to the franchise itself. I just no, I'm not gonna. We have this episode to talk about, not the other episode.
Go to therapy for that one. It's a TV
Some
show.
people
Go to
have
therapy.
daddy issues. Here we go. Hang on. We're gonna do a screen share real quick.
Oh, jeez.
Nicole doesn't know the Riker maneuver. She has to see it.
We're gonna hope this works.
Your brakes are looking great.
All right.
Somebody's cheap.
Yes, I am.
Now.
Oh, that's kind of sexy.
Transfer has been completed.
There you go.
Dr. Pulaski's being shown to her quarters. We're ready to get underway.
Grand.
Okay.
Number one, I'll relieve you at 0300.
The reverse Riker maneuver.
Oh, wow.
First
In and
words
out of
your
a
mouth
fucking chair
are the
like
most
that.
important. You may want to start with something like this here.
Okay. I get it now.
I have questions.
You don't look like
They
a
need
person
the
who came here
full
to
clip with him and Guinan, though.
Mind if I join you?
No, sir.
What the fuck?
Is there something wrong?
They could cut this so much more succinctly to make it better.
I feel like he's gonna straddle me when he does that. What is happening?
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Is that Quark? No, that's the other guy.
Enterprise computer system is controlled.
Racist.
The brother. Isn't it the brother?
We went through
What's
some
his name?
serious times.
It is a Ferengi, but it's not one of those.
Okay. Well, those are the only two I know. Sorry, I got excited.
Do we? God, we're way off topic. Do we know, was that in the show Bible, or is that something that Frakes did and a director had to go, what the fuck are you doing?
From what Frakes said, is what started it was something on the 10 forward set, and they had these really low back chairs. So he just did it. And then it sort of just became a thing.
I'm here for it.
And some poor director somewhere lost an argument with the producer.
Yep.
I will
now
say,
now that we have shown Emily's favorite part of Star Trek The Next Generation and shared that with Nicole and Jessi so that everybody now knows what the Riker maneuver is, let's head back to our discussion of Deep Space Nine and Defiant.
damn it. I had one more comment about him.
There'll be time. Let's get to Christopher's comments, though, and it better not be about hating Riker.
It kind of is, because it's O'Brien. So when he tells O'Brien, you know what you did, I liked how they set it up, that because nobody knew what that it was, like I said, that it was Transporter Tom. And he comes in and he's sharing stories with them. And first of all, who goes on vacation to DS9? Like, that should be your first clue. Like, that is not a place to go on vacation. But they're kind of talking in generalities, and then like Kira's like, oh yeah, I met him all right last night. But when he goes, and how are you going to deal with O'Brien? And he's just like, you know what you did. And O'Brien doesn't say anything. He just walks out. But as he's walking out, you can see the look on his face like, what the fuck was that all about? And he knew something had to be up, because it just didn't fit with the way that him and Will Riker's relationship was. And the next scene, you have them trying to explain to Ducat what the hell happened, how you got Tom. And, well, not the next scene, but like, I think that was like the turning point when they kind of knew that at least O'Brien knew that something was off. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I like that little detail.
Nicole?
So, one thing before I get into my comments is because I watched that Second Chances episode and I now know who Will Riker is, Noah Wiley was just given a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and Jonathan Frakes was one of the speakers. And I was so excited because I was like, I know who that is. I know what he was on. So I was very proud of myself that I got to see him. And by the way, he still looks good as an older gentleman. So
He doesn't look like he aged at all.
No,
I
he
love
looked
when
great.
they say that they gave someone a star on that, like they don't actually.
Well, he earned
pay
it. Yeah,
for
you know what I
those.
meant. But whatever.
They buy the damn things.
Listen, don't you besmirch Noah Wiley in my presence, sir. But anyway, I digress. I was very excited to see that Jonathan Frakes was there and that I knew who he was. But anyway, moving on, as Jessi says. I was very confused about the O'Brien thing, I will say, because I'm like, well, what did O'Brien do? What happened? Like, I wasn't even thinking about it the same way Christopher was. I was like, what did O'Brien do? Like, I was very confused. But my original comment was I kind of wanted to dive into the Cisco and Gul Dukat kind of relationship that happened throughout this episode. It was really funny because when they were explaining to him, he was basically like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. And then all of a sudden he was like, wait a second. Then he was interested. And then when it became an opportunity for them to like invade, then he was interested and excited about it. But I will say that I thought him and Cisco, obviously, here's the thing, is like, they're both leaders, they're both in charge, and they both are kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I felt like this episode kind of showed that they're both just doing the best they can to lead their respective areas and do what's best for their people and what. Well, Cardassians are evil, we know that, but this showed a different side of Gul Dukat. I also appreciated the fact that we learned a little bit more background about his family, about his kid, and he actually has feelings because he said that something was sad, so that was interesting. But I just really like how it was like Cisco got to him in a way. He was, I'm right, just whatever. And then when the Obsidian Order lady wouldn't tell him what was going on Eris, is that the name of the area? He was like, what the hell? He was pissed because like nobody would tell him anything. And Cisco's like, I could tell you what you want to hear. So Cisco kind of like played him like a fiddle, but also like, I don't know. I felt like they bounced so good off of each other and almost like there was an unspoken level of respect between them because they were both kind of respectively leading their areas and just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, obviously they do not revere humans in any way because she's like, cover your things and saying basically they had to take precautions because there was a human there or whatever. And he's like, well, we would do the same, but we would be a little bit more courteous about it, like called her out. So obviously, I don't think they're ever going to like each other, but I do think there was maybe some sort of level of connection or mutual respect built from this experience. But it was just really fun to kind of watch it play out. It was kind of like a duo that shouldn't have been together, but got stuck together and had to figure it out. That's kind of what I envisioned it. And I just really thought it took a lot from both actors to kind of dig deep and bring that kind of energy to each other. But I also feel like they had fun with it in a way. Like I could tell that they were enjoying plotting and scheming. So I just really enjoyed that part. I didn't think I would because, I hate the Cardassians, sorry, Freudian slip. But I really did enjoy kind of like their dynamic. And it also goes to show it's like, even though he was a high ranking leader, he still doesn't know shit about what's going on behind his back. There's still things that are going on that like people don't know. So I also feel like maybe it made him realize that he wasn't as hot shit as he thought he was. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
Chris?
Yeah, to kind of piggyback on some of that, I liked how Cisco got to display, I think, more than just a I don't think it's a lowly title, but just a space station commander. He actually showed some starship captain or Starfleet captain acumen with the strategy and just the thinking that he was displaying when he was working with Gul Dukat and the Obsidian Order and anticipating Tom's moves and what the Defiant was going to do next and the tactics that they were employing. And granted, he did have kind of the inside track, maybe because he's Starfleet too, which the Cardassians aren't. So if it was something that they learned in the academy or something, Cisco would know that they wouldn't. But I just liked they bigged him up in this episode. In my eyes, they actually, to me, kind of displayed. I don't want to say a feat, but he achieved something in this episode that I don't. At least I can't remember that he has in a way before. So I really like that aspect. To go back to the Riker maneuver, I will say, as somebody who is 6'6", if you are ever having to sit down in a chair that small, it is way easier just to kick your leg over and squat down than it is to bend over, pull the chair out, maneuver around, squat down, and then scoot in. So the Riker maneuver has functionality as well as style points. I'll say that.
I only do it to alpha people, but
I mean, yeah, if you try to max out the room, you know what I'm saying? I guess you can swing that leg over too. But I just like the way that they did show, in my opinion, again, some more depth to the level of experience and expertise that Cisco has. Because I feel like sometimes just he becomes more of a like a retail store manager almost when he's just kind of directing people on the space station and let's do this and let's do that and blah blah blah, blah as opposed to on the battlefield type of strategizing and commanding. I like that in this episode.
All right. Anyone else want to jump in with this episode? There's plenty to discuss here. Nicole.
I also enjoyed Kira in this episode because I thought it was so funny at the beginning when Bashir basically says you're off duty and like she's like, you can't do that. And he like challenges her back and then sits her down and puts things in front of her like a child and was like, you have to pick two to play with. It was like, I was like, Bashir got some balls to like do that with her because she could totally kick his ass. So that was kind of funny. And then yeah, obviously, as we all know, I like to ship and I'm all about romance and love. So I was kind of enjoying the schoolgirl giggling and talking about Riker with Dax and Kira. I thought that was cute. I could tell that Kira liked him and that when he shot her and basically betrayed her, she was like, well, fuck this guy, And then at the end, he fucking kisses her. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, he used her, he apologized to her for using her, basically brings her up there as like a prisoner in a way, and then he kisses her and then goes to prison. Like, what the fuck is happening? I was very confused. And I was like,
creepy.
Yeah, I was like, Will Riker would never.
Oh, yes.
She absolutely would.
Okay, good to know. But no, I was just like, I was like, what is happening? And then she's just sitting there like, huh? The same reaction that anybody would have had. So she definitely went through the gamut of emotions and like her acting ability was on full blast on this episode.
I see the look on your face, and I think we're in for it. Jessi.
It's called Stockholm Syndrome, goddammit. He kidnapped her, he shot her, and then he fucking thinks it's appropriate to go over and kiss her. First of all, that's throat punch territory 101. And I'm fucking, oh shit. Anyway, who was Kira in a fucking relationship with? Because she said she was involved with somebody.
The creepy robe guy with the bird chest.
They're not still together. We haven't seen that motherfucker for like 18 episodes.
Are you complaining?
I'm not mad, but I think it's Odo. You guys are gaslighting the shit out of me. I think they're together.
She was in a relationship with her career.
What?
She was in a relationship with her career.
Oh, well, I feel that.
Or possibly something in her nightstand. You never know.
I wouldn't. Listen. You know what doesn't fucking disappoint? You're all welcome. My tiny little joystick. Can we move on, please?
Chris.
I was going to say, I wasn't feeling that kiss either because, like, that's supposed to be her and Odo supposed to be trying to get something going. My
That's
man
what I'm
Tom
fucking
trying to
saying.
step in with his felonious game. I'm not peeping that. So she's smart enough to know not to get into a relationship with a convict. He's getting sent upstate. He's going to do his time. He's out of the picture. So just we don't got to worry about him no more.
Well,
he's going to be getting different kind of action where he's going. But I wanted, Kira and Odo, man, don't fuck with that. Nah, man. My man's finally getting on. I don't want to see any interlopers coming in from other series, from other franchises, trying to step in. Nah, man. Let's keep Kira and Odo tight.
So I actually wanted to jump in earlier when we were talking about the thing with O'Brien. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to do editing on that now or not, but it was interesting because I actually, until you said it, Blake, I legitimately thought that Tom Riker blamed O'Brien for the transporter mishap, for low-key ruining his life. And so when I saw that scene, like, that was where my head went with it immediately. It wasn't until, you shared your piece that I'm like, damn, that is actually way smarter. And I hope that you're correct and I'm not, because that makes way more sense. Gives me more appreciation for the writing of the episode, and it gives me a great idea of what to do when I run into old high school classmates that I don't want to talk to.
But it kind of works on both levels.
It does.
O'Brien would not have been the transporter chief that was operating for the accident.
I didn't think that it necessarily
because
was
it was before Riker went to the Enterprise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but I did think that they had served together previously on a different ship.
Nope.
Was that not? Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. Next time some dude comes up to me at the farmer's market and he's like, "Oh, I remember seeing you," and I'll be like, "Get the fuck away from me! You know what you did."
We're gonna keep a running tally of the number of times that Jessi has her hands up on this show, and Mike wants to jump in with another report.
I don't even notice anymore.
I don't think he cared if he did. It's fine. I mean, hey.
So we're gonna go to Jessi right now.
No, I was just going to comment on something that Chris said, but we're 27 minutes past it, so it is what it is.
Blake can edit it all together.
Oh, God bless him. Jesus, I know why he hates me. I was just going to say, because Chris said something about her not wanting to date a criminal or a felon. Some women like that shit. Some women really fucking find that.
There's a whole series.
Some women.
There is.
Some women might be on this podcast.
Not with recently, not within the last 13 years, but at one point I didn't really give a fuck if you had a felony or not. So we're here.
I just don't want to think Kira is that type.
You know what? Listen, sometimes you just need that really strong felon type to just step in and say, "Hey, shut the fuck up. You're being rude." And then you're like, "Yes, yes, daddy."
Shut the fuck up. Bag this shit so I can get it.
Yeah, and then throat punch comes next. So that's why we don't do that now, because that is not going to go well for anybody at this point.
And Jessi, I think it's cute. You think you're the only one I hate.
Oh, I know you hate everybody. You don't even like people. You never fucking have. This is not a new thing.
Exactly.
That's why we get along so well, because we both fuck. Everybody on this podcast hates people.
We all hate people.
Maybe Christopher. I think Christopher might like some people. Everybody else.
I mean, my wife, but that's about it.
Correct. There's the significant other, and then outside of that, nobody fucking gets any love or tolerance from any of us.
And speaking of people who hate people, Emily,
there
what
she
you got?
is.
Thanks. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Is it
Yes, you
wrong?
I don't think you care
Look,
about that.
I'm selective about who I like, and just because a lot of people don't make the cut doesn't mean I hate people.
I really am surprised you like me and Nicole.
I'm pretty likable, I will say.
I mean, you are. I'm not so much, but you on the other
I'm
hand.
humble too.
I like me.
I like me.
Listen, if I don't like me, nobody else does, and most of the time I don't like me, so.
Look, I'm not going to say Prentice is my favorite on the podcast and make y'all feel bad.
We all love Prentice.
We do. We all adore Prentice.
Chris, we're checking. Where's Prentice? Because I'm sure you guys have said this and I wasn't on. Where is he?
He got back late from a conference, so he wasn't able to join.
Likely story. I think he had 7 dates. Let's.
Anyway,
right.
What I was going to say was, did anyone else find it interesting that Tom Riker got political on the Gandhi?
Oh, yeah, that is funny.
He was serving on the Gandhi and got political, and I was like, wow, that's...
Missed that.
And didn't like colonizers.
Yeah,
Huh.
I was like, that. I mean, come on. That's a little...
But by all means, Star Trek only got woke in the last decade.
So,
correct.
Right.
So and Starfleet Intelligence documented that and still didn't change the locks on the Defiant. I don't know if I think that's the most or least believable thing on.
No, trust me, it's the most.
Yeah. Well, God, I'm gonna go on a whole thing where I was like, okay, so everything is DNA locked. So when a new cadet graduates, do they upload his DNA into the system and spread it all through the everything? Because that sounds like a terrible security policy.
It
And
also
like,
sounds very nasty when it comes out of your mouth. I need you
I'm
to
sure
stop
cadets
tonight.
were spreading their DNA.
you don't
all
want me
over
to
the
continue
place.
talking
Young
about shooting
cadet
DNA around?
just
And...
I
everywhere.
was saying, Mike, you've been watching Starfleet Academy with us. There's DNA spread all over the place.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
oh,
other ways
Lord.
to spread your DNA than to take it from you.
Like, as he's saying it, I'm thinking it's probably comes out of their joystick. And then he says we're going to spread it all around. And I'm done, dude. Like, I need you to
Need
stop
to
talking.
blacklight all the ships from now on.
All right, so I want to talk about in the war room and how Cisco and Dukat are fighting this Cold War between Starfleet and the Cardassians. And what really made me interested was when Cornus, is that her name?
Close enough.
Corinus? When
Cornus.
she came in and just threw everyone for a loop, and to see like the power dynamic between the Obsidian Order and the Central Command of Cardassia. And I thought it was interesting to see the dynamic. You have this secretive organization who's like, no, we are the ones running the show, and I don't care what the actual government's doing. The spy agency is going to do whatever the fuck we want, and you can't know anything about it, and there's nothing there. Don't look over there. And then, oh shit, Riker was actually right. There was something there. And he was thinking that he was going to put an end to this conflict because he would destroy the Obsidian Order. But I just thought that I really liked how it was kind of like the Politburo and the KGB going at one another. And it is giving another layer of world building of Cardassia and the politics of it thrown into what is going on with the Maquis and Starfleet and everything. And it was a really interesting dynamic.
Well, and with that ending too, it would be kind of like all of a sudden the CIA shows up with their own fleet of Navy vessels.
Yeah.
And even Ducat's like, you're not supposed to have those. Well, there they are. And I was going to comment on the one thing with like the DNA test or the access is going back to the Next Generation episode. Keep in mind, Thomas Riker is an exact perfect duplicate of Will Riker. Fingerprints, DNA, everything is an exact duplication of Will Riker. So you'd think they'd have to come up with another security measure, like maybe ask for two-factor authentication and a password. I can't even get into my goddamn work Outlook that fucking easy.
This is exactly what I was going to say, is like having a lock based on DNA alone in this future is ludicrous because it logistically doesn't even make sense how Riker's DNA would unlock every door in the known universe on every Federation installation. But also, in DS9 alone, we have seen at least 2 episodes about clones? So it's stupid.
Well, in this Will Riker is, I will say, he is not a clone.
Close enough. Semantics.
Semantics.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, I will give you that because, and granted, this was a very simpler time in terms of technology. When this show would have been written in 93, 94, they had not thought up the cursed two-factor authentication schemas or validator systems. One of my favorite things is when you have to change your password at work, but then to sign in with the new password, you have to use Authenticator. But to use Authenticator, you have to sign in with the new password, which to sign in with the new password, you have to use Authenticator.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't think that's not a 40...
That's the Microsoft Circle Jerk.
Yes, exactly. It is the Microsoft Circle Jerk every 60 fucking days, which usually leads to a very pissed off email from my personal email going, fix this goddamn thing.
Oh boy, and let me tell you, there's nothing that I like more than having to use my own personal electronic device that I paid for to open the Outlook application that I do not want on this motherfucker and having to type in a 2-digit number to access, what is it? My email. Or fucking anything, Teams, which I also don't want.
You know what? The more this conversation goes on, the less I like this fucking episode. Let me change my mind. I didn't like it. Yep, fuck it.
Okay, Jessi has went from I didn't hate it to fuck it.
To fuck it. Now I think it's stupid, and we're moving on. Although Riker's hot. I don't know why. I missed the part where Christopher said he didn't like him, and I don't know why he doesn't like him. Because he's super fucking hot. Christopher, you don't have to chime in. I'm clear that you don't think that he's super hot like we do, but he is smoking fucking hot, and he didn't look like he aged a goddamn day. But now the little weird thing that he does with the chair, and I hear Chris say it's a tall people thing. I don't know how tall Raker is, but like, goddamn it, I'm 5'10", and I don't straddle a fucking chair every time I sit down. It's
Yeah.
strange.
Now imagine him doing it in a metal gargoyle suit.
Rocking boosters and kick.
Hell yeah.
There was an episode of Strange New Worlds, which was a crossover with Lower Decks, and it was directed by Frakes. And the guy that plays Brad Boimler from Lower Decks, that him and Mariner get transported back in time to, I know, Jessi, it's time travel, but they get transported back in time and end up on Pike's Enterprise, and they go from animated to real life. But in Strange New Worlds, Pike rides horses. He has a saddle. He's not the first captain we've seen on screen that has a saddle on board. But you see Boimler walk up, and this was not scripted. Boimler just all of a sudden does the Riker maneuver, mounts the saddle, and goes, Riker! Wasn't in the script. Frakes didn't know what was going to happen. And go watch the Ready Room episode from after that, because those two talking about it, and Frakes just lost his shit laughing hysterically when he did Riker and went up on the saddle, because that was not supposed to happen.
Such a good episode of Strange New Worlds, too.
Dude, and Lower Decks is great. Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome are fucking amazing. Anyway.
And Frakes is 6'4", according to what I just looked up.
No, she just said he's 6'2".
6'3", split the
extra
difference.
inches. Imagine
Listen,
that.
People shrink when they get old.
6'4" is fine. Anything above 6'2" is chef's kiss. You're welcome.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to talk about Defiant?
I would like to talk about the conversation that Riker and Kira were having on the bridge of the Defiant, where they're talking about he called her a terrorist and she's calling him a terrorist, and how they start kind of making the point because they both saw one another or themselves as freedom fighters. He is fighting what he believes is an unjust system, and Kira was fighting the Cardassians' occupation. And I don't think that either of them would actually consider themselves to be terrorists, but I think it's setting up something in the future where they're going to label the Maquis as a terrorist organization. And I've said it myself on this podcast that they're fucking terrorists. When Cisco's friend came in, that he just let fucking go and he should have brought him in. And I think they're trying to make the point that one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. And those two in this situation were the perfect people to do it.
Nicole.
So, yeah, I mean, that was also one of the things I liked the most, as I said before, that Kira was calling him out on his shit. And basically, she said that you can either be a terrorist or a hero. You can't be both. And she was like, I was a terrorist and I own that. But you are not a terrorist. You want to be the hero and you can't. And he was like, watch me. And she was like, you're a fucking fake. But I mean, it was really interesting to hear that dynamic and to hear her label herself as that. Because, in all reality, even though she was fighting for a cause that was, trying to free her people, in their eyes, she was a terrorist and she owned that. And she just basically was telling him, you're not doing this for the right reasons. You're doing this to make a name for yourself. You don't want to actually do good. You want to separate yourself from your brother or whatever, or your twin or clone or whatever the fuck she called him. But basically, she was just calling him on his shit. And he was like, oh, you better stop trying to make narratives or paintings or whatever. You know, that line he said to her? Oh, I wrote it down. I can't remember it now. But he was basically like, don't try to make up stories that you don't know the truth to or whatever. And she was like, yeah, I got your number, dude. But she was onto him and she called his ass out. And I appreciated that.
When Kira said that you're too much of a Starfleet officer to be like an effective terrorist, that kind of hit, because it's a difference between, is he leading like a militia of people and they're much more organized, whereas what Kira was involved in, the resistance was, it seemed to be more grassroots. It really is the word, yeah.
Like guerrilla.
Guerrilla. And two different tactics, two different styles of tactics. And I think it comes down to, again, what is the point that they wanted to do to end the occupation. And Riker is trying to just end Cardassia's ability to occupy. And he's trying to take everybody down and not just like expel them from their homeland. He's trying to just take them down where they can't be a problem to anyone instead of kicking them out and gaining their sovereignty back.
Jessi.
The more we have conversations about how Riker and Kira were having conversations, the more it pisses me off that he thought it was appropriate to kiss her at the end. Like over and over and over and over and over, he did really wild shit and then thought it was okay to do that. And it kind of irritates me even more. Like just
I will say, keep in mind, he was about to be beamed over to the Cardassian ship and go to prison for the rest of his life. I think he wanted to kiss a woman one last time.
that's his own, that's the consequences of your action, sir. That does not mean you can sexually violate me because you don't want to be kissing men for the rest of the fucking time that you're alive. Like, that's very weird. It's a very weird situation. Like, you kidnapped this chick. You shot this chick. You shot her. You
That's
tried
because he
to
loved
kill
her
her.
so much. He loved her so much.
It's weird.
He only
And then
stunned her.
Stun me and see what happens. Put your fucking mouth anywhere near me and see who rips it off you.
I stunned you. I stunned you because I love you. That's why.
God, that's the most abusive thing I've heard. Like
They were legit hitting it off at the beginning of the episode.
Uh-huh.
It's not like it came from nowhere.
But he was hitting
I'm
on
not really
like, he was-
defending it. It's just
So, do we need to talk to your wife? Let me see her blink twice if she's safe. No, but like, here's the thing: is like that was all fake. Like that was all fucking. He was just hitting it off with her so that he could kidnap her.
I don't know. I think there might have been something genuine to it too, right?
Maybe it's in some rapey fucking sense. That's strange. You know, I'm all about consent. Goddammit.
Anyway,
that did not look consensual.
I don't know. I think the conversation, the kind of argument back and forth between Kira and Tom about you're not a terrorist, I'm a terrorist, blah blah blah. It doesn't seem to me like it's really about the tactics of it so much as it's Kira kind of being almost a little accusatory about like, look, I was the victim. I'm part of the people who are being oppressed. Like I'm rising up to defend myself. You're an outsider who's coming into our struggle, which is a little bit bullshit because I mean her accusation is basically accusing him of like not, I don't know, having an honest sense of justice. She's just saying like you don't really care what happens to the Bajoran settlers. You're just wanting to go out in a blaze of glory. You know, you want to make a name for yourself to separate yourself from your brother, which may or may not be true. I don't know that she's in a position to really know that either. But I didn't get a read that it was about the end goals being different.
Terrorist cultural appropriation. Is that what you're saying, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. She's gatekeeping.
I think it goes back to like the eyes of the beholder. Like I think anybody that's fighting for any cause can be, I mean, labeled in any kind of, it just depends on who you're asking, I guess. Like one's a terrorist, one's not. I think that's what Blake was talking about, us getting ourselves on that, or me getting us on that watch list last time. Like, I mean, lots and lots of people would consider America terrorist, but not to the people in America. They're fucking freedom fighters. It's weird. Let's give them some democracy and some freedoms. Except that's not ever what fucking happens. So I think I just think it's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's also like the saying, every villain is a hero in their own story.
Right.
It's like, depending on what side you're looking at it from, either, yeah, you're the terrorist or you're the hero.
Buddy,
but
I'm
you
the
also
villain
gotta...
in my own story.
Joke's on you, bitches. You can call me what you want.
But I think, like, on the other side of that coin, the other part of me thinks right is right and wrong is wrong. And even though there's a lot of room for the gray area in between the two, I don't know, is there any amount of objectivity that can be applied to these kind of debates or these kind of dual mindsets or perspectives? You know, is there a situation where it's war, but one side is clearly right and one side is clearly wrong? Because it's war at the end of the day. I mean, is this something that you can sit down and say definitively Tom is wrong and Kira's right, or Kira's right and Tom is wrong? I don't think there's a lot of situations where you can do that. And I think in this one, I think we're more seeing it, or more apt to see it from Kira's perspective, just because I think for the most part when it comes down to it, we're all team Kira. as opposed to Team Tom. But fuck Tom. But if you're in Tom's crew though, right? If you were one of those people on that ship, Tom's your guy.
Right.
He's the man. He's the hero, right? And Kira's the interloper. She's the who is this bitch trying to fuck up our shit? Like she's the bitch trying to fuck up the shit. So
The establishment.
yeah, right. She's a
I mean,
representation of the establishment to them, right?
right? Yeah.
Christopher.
Chris, to your point, I think they had us watch an episode of TNG. I think it was Journey's End, and they set up how this whole situation between Cardassia and the Federation and the Maquis come to light. And their Starfleet is giving up control of some planets that have settlers on them. And so they're Federation citizens who are now controlled by Cardassia. And so they think that they're fighting for their freedom, and the Maquis come from that. So they have built into this story that there is some just reasoning behind what the Maquis are doing because they feel abandoned by their government, that the only one who's going to stand up for them is going to be themselves. And so there's that gray line. Is it moral? Is it not? And it makes it harder to say what they're doing is terrorism, what they're doing is not justified. What Riker is doing here, trying to strike a blow against Cardassia, is for many people is something that they can see themselves in, or that they can say, hey, they are right to be doing this. So to your point, they may be the ones who are more moral here than either Starfleet or the Cardassians.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what makes this part of the story compelling is because the Maquis do have some justification for doing what they're doing. And so, of course, to them, again, they're the heroes, right? In their story, they're not terrorists, they're freedom fighters. But to everybody in Cardassia, the Maquis are terrorists, right? Of the highest order that need to be taken care of. That gray area again between what's right and what's wrong. Because if you're say for instance a Cardassian and you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, well I sympathize with them that they don't want to be under Cardassian rule because they didn't make the decision for their planet or their settlement be within to be selected to be under our rule, but at the same time there's non-violent ways they can go about trying to secede from Cardassia, rejoin Federation. It's you can use diplomacy or you can go the route of a peaceful protest, but to enact war and acts of violence and commit murder to Cardassians, that's what makes them terrorists, and they're not using the appropriate channels to do it. Like there's so many different elements to a revolution. Again, that's going to have both sides say terrorist versus hero, you know. But that's what, Chris, that's what makes it what you were saying, the reason why they're doing it, that's what makes it a compelling part of the story is because they are very justified, those people in doing what they're doing. It's just a matter of perspective on which side you're looking at
and I
their
was just
actions
gonna
from.
say, I mean, like you mentioned that there may be other ways, but I don't see that there would like I don't in this world that they're showing us, I don't see how, petitioning the central command of Cardassia is gonna get them anywhere, right? It's
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
they know violence, and that's how they have to react.
That's the thing, right? It's like civilized people claim to abhor violence, and so the outsiders always want to point and be like, "Oh, that's wrong. You're doing it the wrong way. There's supposed to be a right way, whether there really is one or not, or whether there's a right way that's
Yeah.
actually effective or not, right?" And I mean, very much like Kira really is the establishment person there. She's there as a member of the current Bajoran government, like as a representative of their viewpoint, which is part of the Federation's viewpoint, to step back and also not get involved in what injustices may be happening inside these contested Maquis you're fighting. And ultimately, I mean, we've kind of hit the nail on the head or beat this thing to death that like the Maquis have a very sympathetic standpoint or basis for why they're doing what they're doing. And I think the whole episode kind of ends up brilliantly punctuating it by the end scenario being, Tom goes in on this mission. He has a very deliberate plan to go try to blow the lid off some secretive shit happening in Cardassian territory, because he thinks that by doing that, he's going to put the Cardassians on a path to fight amongst themselves, hopefully back off. And he's right. Like, the end what happens in the end is he flies in and discovers exactly what he was looking for. And so it proves, like, hey, these guys from the Maquis did know what they were talking about after all, and much to Gul Dukat's surprise.
Anything else on the Defiant? I think that is going to wrap up our discussion. For those who are familiar with how this works, we are going to get the questions and predictions from our newbies. We're then going to throw them out of here and go talk about them, maybe make fun of them, maybe gaslight some stuff. You never know what we're going to do with this group. Jessi, we did start off with pointing out your annoyance with Emily being a prophet this time and not one of the first ones.
She's on this side of me, by the way.
This is an audio podcast.
Well, she sees me. She sees me.
I see you.
There's some sign language going around on our Zoom. So let's go ahead and grab some questions and predictions from our cast of characters here. And let's go ahead and start with Chris.
So, as far as questions, I don't really have any. I'm more just hopes. Like, I hope nobody else decides to try to break up my boy Odo and Kira again.
Agreed. Shit.
Stop trying to fuck with perfection. Just let it happen.
Just let her be happy. Shit.
Just let her be happy, man, and let Odo, finally get some. I mean, come on, he's on a drought here. Who knows how long? So let him get his. Yeah, and I hope that they continue to go this path with displaying more of Sisko's capabilities or show different sides of his character, not just personally, but I'm speaking more so professionally. I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels like anytime a starship captain comes on a Deep Space Nine, there's this air of you're not a captain, you're the space station commander, so you kind of have to do what I request. And I could be making that up in my head. I don't know. But I just like to see Sisko continue to go down this path of displaying more expertise, more of that high level boss energy, and really elevate him up more, because I feel like, I don't know, it could just be my own opinion of Starfleet ship captain versus a commander of a space station, but I want to see him continue to elevate. I want to see my brother continue to come up in the series. So hopefully we get more of that. And then, yeah, I guess one question is the Obsidian Order and Central Command going to elevate or graduate their beef up another level now that it's been discovered they had some secret operations going on in their own militia and shit? So that's what I got.
So here's a question for you, Chris, because when we did Civil Defense, one of the things you were rather incredulous about was Sisko having the engineering skill. And in this episode, it talks about he helped design the Defiant. He knows the systems on the Defiant. Did this help kind of address some of those thoughts you had around Sisko and having the engineering knowledge?
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys kind of, shed some more light on it when we had the discussion, because I didn't know they all in the academy or in their training, they all go through these intensive programs for engineering and things like that to make sure that if you're on this ship or if you're on the space station, you are at least, educated and qualified to a certain degree. I was looking at it more like Chief O'Brien, he's the guy, he's got his crew. If you're not Chief O'Brien or in that crew, you might have some knowledge, but not to the extent that you could go inside the reactor and fix it. So you guys already shed light on that, but this episode does kind of continue to expand on that. It's, hey, he's not just a space station commander. Like, if he gets behind the console, if he's on the bridge of a ship, he can do his thing too, and he can hold it down there. So yeah, between y'all explaining it and them doing this again, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping to see more of that, because if that's the case, I want to see the full breadth of what they're capable of. Let's rack up some feats and some W's for Sisko, as opposed to just, like I said, I feel like he's more of a retail store manager, just kind of delegating to people to do their odd jobs or whatever. And I don't know. I just liked him in this capacity more.
Nicole, how about your questions and predictions?
So I wonder, I guess my question is this Obsidian Order and the Central Command, is there going to be like a civil war or like a conflict between them? Is this going to break Cardassia up? Because obviously Gul Dukat was saying that, oh, they won't fire on Cardassian ships or whatever. And the ugly lady was like, oh, well, we'll do whatever it takes to protect our project or whatever. And then when it came time to like fight, they turned away. So I wonder if that is accurate, if they won't shoot on each other because they're both Cardassians, or if this is going to spark like a conflict in between them. And then is the Central Command going to have to like team up with somebody else? Maybe they'll rely on Starfleet for help. Like, I'm just very curious where this is going to go because Gul Dukat was clearly pissed off about this and wanted to know what was going on, and he wasn't going to let it go. Like, he kind of reminded me of like a pit bull with a bone. You're not getting the bone out of that pit bull's mouth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with that. That was really the only question that I had. And my other question was, what did O'Brien do? But obviously that wasn't true. That was just a ruse to, which I now know, but I was thinking of all sorts of scenarios that O'Brien did in my head, and that was fun.
Christopher, your thoughts and predictions. Questions and predictions, whatever the fuck we're doing.
So I think that Bareil and Kira are going to break up. Look, she's here kissing Tom, and she
Hold
wants
on.
to see.
She didn't kiss him on her fucking own, sir.
She out here. In
She
these
would have
streets
at the
kissing
beginning
Toms.
of the episode.
But she didn't at the
She didn't
Stop
exactly
it.
say no either.
Hey.
Yeah, she
oh,
leaned into it.
God damn it. She was dressed a certain way, and that's why she got pissed. Piss off, you motherfucker.
Up there wearing that
I'm not
tight
saying what
Starfleet
he did was
uniform.
right at the end of the episode, but at the beginning of the episode, she was all about him. And I'm not defending him. What he did at the end was just not right. But at the beginning of the episode, she was like, "Yeah, let's go. Let me walk you around the promenade." But and then clearly she wants to see what Odo can shift into. So
There it is.
Her and
Sorry.
Bareil are done.
Okay. That's a really long way to say Bareil and her are breaking up.
The Maquis are going to continue to cause trouble, and they're going to turn this kind of like Cold War between Starfleet and Cardassia. They're going to turn it hot. And then to Nicole's point, to her question, I think there is going to be a civil war on Cardassia between the Central Command and the Obsidian Order.
And Jessi, your questions and predictions.
I don't have anything, but I made something for Emily.
Wow.
I love it.
It's an audio
Thank
podcast.
you.
So let me go ahead and explain to everybody out there what it is. It's a paper cutout with a hand giving the finger, and it says, "Dear Emily, love Jess." You're welcome.
Oh, I'm screenshotting that shit off the video.
Here, you want another one?
I'm screenshotting that off the video. And I have a feeling that when we get our Christmas cards from Jessi this year,
Yep.
that's probably what each of us are going to get.
I
give this one to
appreciate
Blake.
she put the effort into that just for me. Like that
Well,
makes me feel special.
This is Emily's. This is Blake's. So Mike will get his own
Not
later with
opening
a
it.
joystick.
There might be extra
Yeah, I'm not
surprises
opening
in
it.
Mike's.
I know you've got access to see, like, no.
He said, "I do not consent to this shit. Don't fucking put me in your bullshit."
So this has been our discussion of Star Trek Deep Space Nine's episode The Defiant. Or there's no the in there, it's just the episode Defiant. We are watching this through week by week. It is driving some of our cast crazy because they really are wanting to binge this at this point, and we won't let them. They are having to watch this week to week the same way we did back in the 90s for those of us that were fans. Jessi's giving us the finger again. And if you think we are unhinged on this show and some of what we say here is rather batshit crazy, you should definitely check out our Discord, which you can get access to by joining our Patreon at any level. We have all sorts of information out there for the conspiracy-minded. We've got a food corner. Nicole just started some kind of random obsessions corner thing. Apparently there's more stuff about oiled up men there than Christopher's Balls and Bears channel, but you never know. Can't wait for those two streams to cross, because we've definitely had some crossover in the posting before, so
They're
that's
going
going
to
to be the
swords.
crossover when that one happens. This evening's Discord was a conversation around my meat because I made homemade burgers, so you never know what kind of conversations are going to happen on our Discord. There was even some speculation about the career path of one of our hosts, that they might be a public defender, to which I pointed out if they were a public defender, we would not have them on this show because the last thing we need on this show is a lawyer.
Also,
Having
please
them on
don't
the show makes them a material witness. We need them to defend us, not testify against us.
please don't like offend me like that. Like don't you that was yeah, that was rude. So let's just start there.
Wow.
This doesn't come out for another couple weeks, right?
Nope.
Right.
It's out for 3 weeks.
Okay.
We got
I
3
think I
weeks.
should be covered by then.
You should be good by the time this comes out. So until we get back with next week's episode of Fascination, and oh boy, I'm going to call it right now. With the episode Fascination, Jessi is going to have some thoughts, some feels, and I'm probably going to have to do a shit ton of editing.
Yeah, I'm going to be sick that night.
We're gonna
Listen,
have
it'll-
spicy, Jessi.
Listen, if it comes out after I am done, you can put whatever the fuck you want out on the internet. I'm not worried about that at
Oh,
that
that'll
point.
come out
So,
after you're done, but you're going to have some thoughts and feels about Fascination. I can guarantee you that one.
can't wait. Love, kidnapping, and rapey kisses. Can't wait for the next episode.
I'm not going to say what's coming, but you're going to love that one.
God damn, if it has anything to do with the goddamn Dabo girl and the fucking minor that she's dating, I'm gonna lose my shit. God fuck. Okay.
It might not.
Of course it does. If they get into it and they have any kind of sexual conduct, I'm gonna fucking pull the dude's hard drive and I'm gonna find out why he likes to do that shit.
So join us back for next week's episode, Fascination, when you're going to get to hear all of Jessi's thoughts and feels on that one, or at least what I leave in the show and don't edit it out for an hour's worth of repetitive nonsense. Until then, I have been your host, Blake, and with me has been
Mike,
Emily,
Chris,
Nicole,
Christopher,
and Miss Repetitive Nonsense herself, Jessi.
Thank you for listening to Especially the Lies, a Deep Space Nine podcast. You can find all the places to listen to and watch this podcast by searching for Especially the Lies on your podcast app or on YouTube. We want to hear from you, so join the conversation at Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review where you are listening to or watching this podcast. Especially the Lies is not affiliated with, and the podcast has not been prepared, approved, or licensed by Paramount or any other owners of the Star Trek copyright. All clips included in this podcast are the intellectual property of the respective copyright holders. They are included here for purposes of review, and no infringement is intended.
Why have you brought me here? Show yourselves. What do you want?
The Cisco has returned to us.
He arrives with questions.
There are always questions.
Welcome back to Visiting with the Prophets. This is the portion of our show where we go through all of our newbies' questions and predictions. So if you have not watched past Defiant and do not want to hear spoilers, we recommend you get your ass back to the Alpha Quadrant because we're going to talk some shit. Emily, what do we got?
Okay, so a lot of people have thoughts about Central Command and the Obsidian Order having a civil war on Cardassia.
Oh, they're nowhere near where this is going to go because
Yeah,
let's just address the elephant in the room. This is the setup, and they don't even see it. Because the fleet in the what was the name of the sector? Why am I forgetting that?
Arias or
Yes, the fleet in the Arias system is the fleet that Enabran Tain is going to take with the Romulan Tal Shiar to go try to wipe out the Founders. And that's coming up later this season.
yeah,
And that basically decimates the Obsidian Order. And what we end up with when we get into the start of season 4, the whole premise for the Klingons taking out the Cardassians is there's a new civilian government that has taken out and has taken over and put the military back in its place, and the Obsidian Order basically is gone at this point, or at least extremely diminished.
right.
So I think it's interesting that there's the bits and pieces there that they keep asking about where's this conflict with the Dominion going to be? Where's this? It's happening. It's building. The blocks are being put in the foundation.
And I do think where we're at right now, it does look more like there should be a civil war based on what we've seen, and I'm glad they're picking up on stuff like that and doing more predictions because even if it's not accurate, like, hey, thanks for giving us something. And also, I can see why they're thinking that because it felt like the Maquis were about to start some Cardassian civil war shit by showing up and being like, oh, hey, there's warships out here that Central Command doesn't know about, and the Obsidian Order's not supposed to have them. So are y'all gonna do anything or?
Uh-huh.
So this is something that I guess hasn't been, I don't know, immediately clear to me for a while. The Obsidian Order, like, would you liken them to being kind of like the Cardassian version of the CIA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Yes.
the intelligence agency shouldn't have. They obviously are allowed to have assets, but they should not have full-on military assets that
Correct.
rival the militaries.
Yeah. Well, I would even almost put them further than that. I would almost go more towards the KGB as, I mean, the CIA is there and has a presence, but they still largely operate within a system. The KGB was in of its own self an entity that could even take out the political leaders if they want.
Kind of pulling strings more than.
Yes.
I mean, maybe we're
Well, and just the
put on
amount
our
of
tinfoil hats, kids. We're assuming the CIA doesn't do that, but yeah.
Well, it depends on the country. If they've
Yeah.
done it several times, or if they've gotten quite shitty at it, actually.
Well, just
But
our understanding of the amount of information the KGB was willing to collect on their own citizens.
oh yeah,
Sure.
And manipulate, lower levels and stuff where you think, why are you wasting your time with that?
well, and there was
Yeah.
a comment made in one of these episodes, and I can't remember if it was before this or still to come, but it's a conversation about the Obsidian Order, and I think it's Garrick makes a comment that there was a time when the Obsidian Order knew what every Cardassian had for dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Their surveillance
Yeah.
of their own people was extreme.
We're getting there.
And the problem is we do it willingly.
Yeah, we
no.
post what
all-
we eat for
all put-
breakfast on social media.
and we all have an Alexa or a Google Home in our
Nope.
houses.
Nope, those are not allowed in my house.
So
Okay,
you don't need one. You have a phone.
I know.
They've got
Same.
you anyway.
Same difference.
What have we got next?
Okay, so there is a lot of hoping Brile and Kira break up and Kira and Odo get together.
Yeah, he's gonna be dead in a few episodes, so
Eventually, yeah. I have to agree. It is kind of weird how they really did start to lean into the Kira and Odo relationship while simultaneously briefly forgetting about
That
Brile.
Brile supposedly exists somewhere.
Yeah.
That's not surprising because no one has liked Brile. Chris is hoping for more Cisco captain style ability, so I
It's
am
coming.
looking
Just
forward to his war crimes Cisco reaction.
Yeah, but I'm still waiting for, I think, season 4, that first shot of Cisco in season 4, because that's the one where he's got the goatee comes in, right?
Okay, so it's season 4, first episode, Way of the Warrior. I'm looking at. Oh, yep, we get bald Cisco with the goatee.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the one. I'm just waiting when Cisco shows up with that look,
Yep.
because that's what we've been saying. That is like a complete change in fucking attitude.
Yeah, the shift is big. Let's see what else. And then Christopher still thinks the Maquis are gonna be causing shit.
Oh yeah, we're not done with the Maquis.
Yeah,
for
we're
a
not
while.
done.
No,
I
we're not.
cannot wait to see what the reaction for Chris is going to be, or Christopher's going to be when we get the Eddington arc.
Yeah.
That's another weird one because they introduced Eddington, beginning of the season. Haven't even so much as like seen him getting a coffee anywhere on the station.
Right. Yeah, I remember thinking that storyline felt weird because he'd been absent for so long that it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere.
I kind of wonder if anyone. I wonder if there will be any of the newbies who forgot that we had been introduced to him already. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Since Christopher had such strong feelings about Riker being on an episode that wasn't, how do we think he's gonna feel about Worf showing up?
That's going to be a minute for him, I think. Well, and especially then Chris made the other Chris made the comment in this one too about not having damn TNG characters show up, and I'm going,
Well,
wait for it. Wait for it. Because not only does a TNG character shows up, he shows up and steals Bashir's woman.
Yeah.
She's not really Bashir's woman, but she's the one Bashir wants.
well, and Troy's mom shows up next week. She's coming back. So, oh, I can't wait for spicy Jessi commentary on that one.
And that's because that's going to be Jake Sisko chasing Kira.
That's just a sexual harassment episode. Like, what not to do?
Yeah, that whole episode is all sorts of fun.
Use that for HR training. That was inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Do not do that.
Cannot wait to get spicy Jessi comments on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, they were focusing on the Cardassian Civil War potential and Kieran Odo.
And it's not so much a civil war with the Cardassians, it's just sort of a thing. Now, when Dukat takes over and they sign a treaty with the Dominion, and it's still not really a civil war till right at the end when the Cardassians turn on the Dominion.
Right.
Then it's more of just a wholesale slaughter
And
at that point.
that's oh shit, I just blanked on his name.
You know, I will say everyone comments on Dukat being Hitler and the Cardassians being the space Nazis. And Scott and I had this argument too, but I likened him more to the Soviets in World War II. Because let's be real here, Stalin was not a nice guy.
No, he wasn't.
And Stalin was aligned with the Germans up until the point the Germans fucked him. And then the Russians switched sides. So
Right.
I've kind of likened it that the Dominion under the founders is more your Nazis. And the Cardassians were the Soviets that were playing along with them until all of a sudden they were on the receiving end.
Why can I
That's it.
not remember his name? It's like Gold Dukat's second.
Damar?
Thank you. I don't know why.
Casey
probably
Biggs.
'cause I haven't slept through the night like 3 weeks at this point. So yeah,
So yeah, we'll get there. It'll be an interesting journey to get there, but it's
for sure.
the blocks are starting to become more apparent. That I think there's going to be a certain point where I think they're going to get there and go, son of a bitch.
Right?
Like, wait a minute, this has been building.
It has. It really has. And it's been fun to watch it week by week instead of just binging it.
Now, I do want to. I think I'm going to invite Ryan to join us for
Past tense.
past tense.
Okay. It's gonna be rough, so having like somebody
I want
else.
another host on there because
Yeah.
you and I are probably going to have problems with that one, I think.
Struggle bussing.
Yeah, because we know how much that was going to be someone's highlight.
Yeah, I know. And I'm okay, so as you know, the cynic who doesn't like people and doesn't trust people and all that jazz, and as much as his optimism would piss me off, like it would be really nice to have it back right now. Could really use it. So, yeah, doing that episode and not having someone,
Not having our ray of sunshine.
yes, our little annoying ray of sunshine.
All right, does that wrap up all of our questions and predictions, Emily?
Yeah, because Jessi didn't have anything.
All right. Well, I think that finishes off our discussion of Defiant. As we said, we will be back next week with Fascination, where we will take our newbies through that episode and then see what questions, predictions, or rants they have from that. Until then, I have been Blake, and with me has been
Mike and Emily.
Night, y'all.